Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Newsround for Anfield Index. I feel that this week on Wednesday, the 4th of March, things are probably best expressed by a purely visceral noise, a kind of because it was just that bad last night from the Reds, wasn't it? There's no redeeming features, let's be honest. There's a lot to be worried about. Maybe the thing that I'm holding on to more than anything else is we're into the last parts of the season. There's not too much of this to go. Where the Reds will end up, Christ knows at this moment in time. I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a rainy, miserable Edinburgh, which is probably the feel for most Liverpool fans right now. Fingers crossed it is a little bit warmer in the world wherever you are. But we start news round with that age-old question we always ask, how are we? Anything goes a little bit this morning. If you're seriously peed off, understand it. If you kind of even gone to as I've seen a few tweeting or saying, I'm beyond angry now, it's just the story of the season, I'd understand that at the same time. There isn't necessarily a wrong. There's so much to pick apart from this performance. But the only thing I'm starting to see is a little bit of gaslighting, just because people are criticising a lot. I keep seeing this tweet and people going, oh, look, the slot out brigade are having a great time. Just to be clear, Liverpool fans want to see us win every single game. I genuinely don't believe there's anyone who's looking for us to lose everyone to it slot out. It was abject last night, genuinely. It really was almost embarrassing. The first half, the only worst first half that I can remember recently was the one against Forest. So this is in recent times, recent form as well. We're not going back to earlier in the season. And this struck me because there was an interview with Hugo Ekitike before this game, serialized for the website. And you can see here, that's the strap line. It's about momentum. And just in case you missed this bit, he was asked about momentum from West Ham moving forward. He said, it's not even about the team we face, it's about the momentum. It's the second part of the season where the games are important, when you can set everything to reach your goals. It's going to be an exciting moment for us, but that's why we play football. And honestly, I'm just excited, and I think my teammates are excited as well. We saw absolutely zero evidence of that on the field. I mean, people are pulling apart individual players, and you can do that. There's factor elements to that, but it's probably easier to say who got pass marks. Who did you think actually showed up last night? And we'll get into individual players, but as we always do, you take one look at the table and you're not necessarily looking up anymore, are you? You're looking at Chelsea, who are now just 3 points behind us with a game in hand and play Aston Villa tonight in fourth place. We are we're the filler between the Villa and Chelsea sandwich right now, which also means you're thinking in terms of our best interests. What result do you want tonight? You could say, well, if Chelsea win, yes, we'll be 6, but we're only 3 points off fourth spot then. I honestly don't know. Villa win, yeah, there's still a gap. It looks like 5th will be enough. This is how we are right now. We are relying on results and performances of other teams because we cannot get the job done ourselves. Let's not mince words. We lost to a Wolves side who've only scored 22 goals all season. It was only their 3rd win of the campaign. And you can talk about, the recent run that they got a draw against Arsenal, they got a win against Villa. There's just no excuses. You watch the game. We absolutely threw that away last night. There's no one else to blame but ourselves. And Arne Slot was talking, honestly, after this. He said, same old story. Recently, we are picking up points from scoring from set pieces. But what did not change in the past 5 to 7 games is we struggle and we find it very hard to score from open play chances we do create. Open play. We were utterly abject from open play. In fact, and just being factual, if you went back to the first half, the only shots on target were Cody Gakpo trying to beat Cody Gakpo and putting it straight into Sarr's arms. And do you remember that one from Szoboszlai that was about 30, 40 yards out, miles out, basically? That was it. We had a ton of the ball, but could do absolutely nothing with it. And people saying this is going too harsh or too far, I can see in the chat panel. No, this is what Liverpool are without set pieces. And Arne Slot, was talking about other things after the game, because obviously it's a standard post-match press conference where he said, we had far more chances than the other team, but like so many times this season, we didn't take them. And when you look at the stats, you can say you dominated the XG. This is where I think I see a lot of people quoting stats and maybe not understanding the context. The XG is 1.83 off 19 shots. That means your average XG per shot is 0.09. So it's high volume, low quality. Hence, look at those examples I just gave from the first half. And in fact, there was a funny tweet. Even Liverpool's goal, the one, when Mo Salah scores, I think the Wolves player gets the assist, Bellegarde, wasn't it, in all honesty? So that was a big part of it. So it wasn't even that Liverpool created that chance realistically. They just pounced on a mistake. That says it all, doesn't it, really? That's what Liverpool are. High volume, low quality shots. It's just factual. And in terms of other things that are factual, and this is a massive concern, people, from what we're seeing, the story all season. Look at that from Up to Joe. Liverpool have lost 5 games thanks to 90th minute goals in the Premier League this season, the most of any side in a single campaign in the competition's history. And people tweeted that, and look at the example, like, so Wolves Wolves have done it before. We equalised on the 83rd minute, obviously conceded on the 93rd last night. Against Leeds, we took the lead on the 90th minute and conceded in the 96th. Bournemouth, we equalised in the 80th, conceded in the 95th to lose. United at home, we equalised on the 78th and conceded in the 84th to lose 2-1. And Palace, we equalised through Chiesa on the 87th minute and then conceded in the 97th minute to lose 2-1. It is literally the opposite of mentality monsters. You can put whatever label you choose to use or say. I would say it's an inherent weakness to this team. It's a clear mentality issue, personally, because they can get goals late. And if we're going to praise them for that, we've got to be able to criticise them on balance at the same time. But Liverpool, as the stats said from Up to Joe, that's the single worst in Premier League history for late goals. It's a massive issue. So when you combine the fact that Liverpool repeatedly this season are conceding late goals and, as we talk about, our open play XG, 0.59 against Wolves, 0.44. Liverpool without set pieces, which, we talked about before, you've got to be honest, you can't beat them, join them. We've been doing that. Utterly abject. And people, going too far in the chat panel talking about, stats and the quality of Liverpool shots. Hamza, shout out to him, from Up. He put this out. He tweeted this. The quality of Liverpool shots this season has typically been below average. In fact, the average Premier League is 0.105. Liverpool are 0.101. I mean, look who they're down there with as well. Where are we? 13th in the list. So just be factual and objective. Liverpool, the story of Liverpool season, they give away late goals. Factual. The quality of their shots is well below average. Factual. High volume, low quality. Sound a bit like Rafa now, I appreciate, but it's just factual what we're seeing. And Arne Slot also talked about in this one, the wingers. and the sides. He said, if you want to go faster, you have to be able to dominate on the sides. And I don't think we were able to do that. We really, really weren't. I mean, Mo gets a goal. So you've got to give him credit for that. In the inside, right half space, as they talk about. Great. I thought he was poor. Again, with the ball. And I know people want to defend him, and it's definitely not all Mo Salah. One thing I will say, though, just watching the game, it actually pains me a bit. Genuinely a Liverpool legend, my favourite player that I've seen in recent times. Think of all the joy he's brought us. It actually hurts my heart a little bit just watching Mo Salah. But I know he scored, so, give him that. But when Gakpo went off, he was also lucky to stay on at the same time. We've got to be factual on what we see. And ex-players went in on certain things as well. Different levels when you talk about Stevie and then you talk about Jermaine Pennant. But Jermaine Pennant tweeted this. I know Arne Slot isn't on the pitch, but wow, they are his tactics, his style and his instructions. You are playing Wolves, not Arsenal, not Man City. Press them from the front for once to win the ball high. This is not Liverpool. Sorry, it's just not. Liverpool can't press from the front, though. We've seen that. There's the story of the season. Liverpool's press is non-existent, to be honest. And in terms of getting back to the wide positions, the kid came on, didn't he? Rio Ngamoa completed more dribbles too than any other Liverpool player versus Wolves last night. He only played 25 minutes. And there were moments of quality from Rio, wasn't he? He was unlucky. It was a great save from Sarr when he tips it onto the post like that. Got to the byline a few times and put the ball back in. I like that as well. You also saw the rawness of Rio Ngamoa. Just bad decision-making at times, wasn't it? Giving the ball away, not understanding necessarily his defensive responsibilities all the time as well. But you've got to be honest in what you saw. He did a lot more than Cody Gakpo. And Stevie didn't pull any punches, did he? Afterwards, I don't know if anyone saw this, but he said on TNT Sports, for 65 minutes, Liverpool were desperate tonight, really poor, didn't create enough, didn't play at the right speed or the right tempo, didn't have enough quality. He has to start Ngamoa now. He has to start in because he's coming on and doing more in a short cameo in a short space of time that Gakpo's doing in 65, 70 minutes. We said Cody Gakpo needed that goal against West Ham, but it was just more of the same. Honestly, it just offered absolutely nothing. It's almost tragic how far Cody Gakpo has fallen, but he's on a massive contract. He's one of Arne Slot's favourites. Here we are. And Jermaine Pennant again agreed with Stevie in what he said. If you look at that tweet, Rio must now start on Friday again. Did more than Gakpo when he came on than what Gakpo did the entire whole game. You know why he did more, because he goes to the byline, he cuts inside, he's not predictable. Why on earth isn't Slot telling him if every single fan is thinking it? But he is a kid. He is a 17-year-old, and they've got to manage his minutes. It isn't Rio Ngamoa's fault that Cody Gakpo's been utterly abject in recent times. It's not Rio Ngamoa's fault that Liverpool's whole attacking setup and patterns of play have been poor. It really isn't. Anyway, in terms of another player, that's a tweet from the official account. Dominic Szoboszlai created the most chances for, completed the most passes, 75 on the pitch today. Not his best game, but still by far the best Liverpool player once again. Not sure about the braids, but not that that really matters anything much. I think he was Liverpool's best player, probably. Easily Liverpool's best midfielder. I mean, McAllister just can't run. We've seen this. Teams just play it around him. Ryan Gravenberch is a massive concern. Has been for a while. Seems to be being ignored a bit. Again, chances to sort of pass forward or really set breaks, sideways, backwards. Completely the right decision at halftime to take him off. You knew he was going to get sent off, just making silly fouls as well. He's been so poor for a while. Ryan Gravenberch, and another massive concern. That midfield area is where Liverpool need serious work. Yeah, honestly, anything I see it in the chat, pal. Anything you want to say about last night, it's true. But if you're going to analyse players, be consistent. Gravenberch, poor. McAllister, poor. Van Dijk, bad for the goal as well. Did that sort of nonchalant, like, how dare he touch me? No, he needs to be stronger. And I've seen people trying to say, oh, he was shoved. He wasn't shoved. Just the Wolves player stands his ground and flicks it on. Virgil should be stronger. You think Canate should get there as well, to be honest. The second goal as well, dear God. I don't know why Jones chooses to dribble it inside there, play it back. Alisson can't kick the ball. No one closes the shot down. You know, again, go back to who really deserves pass marks from last night. Absolutely minimal. Yeah, and we'll talk about what's to come as well. In terms of off the field bits as well, of course, as we get towards the summer, and thank God the season's nearly coming to an end, stories are coming with different people. Jarell Quansah, there's one from Sky Sports Germany. Liverpool are weighing up a move to bring back Jarell Quansah. The Reds inserted an €80 million buyback clause when he joined Bayern Leverkusen last summer, and that option runs until the end of May. The 23-year-old centre-back has caught the eye in the Bundesliga, putting Liverpool in a decision-making process ahead of the deadline. Now, checking into this and looking back to all stories, the suggestion is that that's a bit of nonsense because the clause doesn't actually come into play until 2027, not this summer coming. Plus, Jarell Quansah's getting regular game time as a starter for Bayer Leverkusen. That's what suited him. And also, this isn't knocking the Bundesliga, but it is a lesser league. It's a completely different type of league than what we play in. And doing a bit of digging on this, I think this is a good one for chip paper, shall we say. You know, Liverpool regularly stick in buyback clauses. There's one buyback clause in for Ben Gannon Doak. Do you honestly think he's coming back to Liverpool? Yeah, Liverpool will regularly do this just in case they've covered themselves. If he does explode, you know, he could go to the World Cup. That's very feasible and do well. But for this summer, I wouldn't be putting any serious money on this if I were you. In terms of this summer as well, Arne Slot talked about it in the embargo. I don't know if anyone clocked this. He said, on the transfer policy, we have our own model over here, as I said many times, and our model is that we sign young players. It's normal for younger players that they have to adapt, usually more towards the Premier League compared to players who are maybe 27. It's mad now, isn't it? We're talking about 27-year-old players as though they're almost ancient, non-existent. But we know Liverpool will target younger players. It's always been the style, hasn't it? It's more in terms of now, will we be offering them Champions League football? What will they be looking at Liverpool and thinking? It is a tough one, isn't it? In terms of other links as well, I mean, this one is just not going to go away, understandably, all summer. Philip Heinze from, Sky Sports Germany tweeted the other day, Red Bull Leipzig are bracing for major offers from Yan Diomande this summer. The price tag remains €100 million and above. Leipzig want to make the Ivorian the club's record transfer sale. Nevertheless, they want to try to convince Diomande to stay for another year in the Bundesliga with Red Bull. Everything will depend on the offers that come in. Not just that as well, speaking to a few Bundesliga journalists. As it stands, Red Bull are outside the Champions League spots, aren't they? That's even with Diomande's recent run of form. So that will come into the mix. If they can't offer Diomande Champions League football, that will also probably weaken their bargaining position because he's going to want to play that. Of course he is. Look at the quality he's showing. Liverpool clearly like this boy. They've clearly watched him. You've seen it, when you combine pace and output, that's always going to be sexy at the same time, like fast wingers. And Arne Slot talked about it, not controlling it out wide as well. I think a lot would like this boy, me included, to arrive at Anfield this season. Price will play a big part in whether that happens, as well as, of course, Champions League football for either side, because it's not beyond the realms of possibility he does stay for another season in Leipzig. Another thing to look forward to at the summer, maybe some fast wingers coming in. In terms of players that are coming in this summer, not actually going to play a single more minute, isn't it? Because Stad Rennes have confirmed Jeremy Jacquet will undergo surgery following a left shoulder injury. Liverpool's medical staff are keeping a close eye on his rehabilitation programme ahead of his scheduled move to Anfield this summer. A setback now, but all focus will be on a full recovery before pre-season. And the full expectation is that Jacquet doesn't play another minute in a Rennes shirt, which I see people comment on. My honest thing to be, who cares? As long as he's fit and ready for next season, and he has had, if you look at his injury record, a few shoulder problems before. So if they get it fixed and he has the surgery now and rehabs as he should do, cool. Happy with that. Still excited he's a Liverpool player. Not a single real concern over that at all. In terms of other transfer stories and other bits, I've seen a lot of people latch onto this one as well. The exclusive from Court Outside there saying Liverpool prepared to make a move from midfielder on the radar of rivals Manchester United. Valuation between 65 and 75 million euros. And that player, just in case you're unsure, Kefren Turam, or Kefren Turam, sorry, it's pronounced, isn't it? A player that we were linked with, same time as Manu Kone. Liverpool had a serious look at. Physicality in there. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Physical midfielders. Oof, what a time to be alive. Now, as I put this on the screen, people couldn't differentiate between me reading a tweet and me saying that I had the knowledge, because I read an indie tweet, as we do when we look at stories on Newsround, hence that's why we call it Newsround. And people always say, like, so I am reading what Florian Plettenberg has put on the screen here on the tweet. So Michael Elise remains a dream target for Liverpool ahead of the upcoming summer window, and further background checks have been made. However, Liverpool now consider a transfer to be completely unrealistic. He is not for sale. In addition, Bayern are looking to extend his contract beyond 2029. As a result, Liverpool are shifting their focus within the Bundesliga to Jan Diomande. Now, it is important to say, we know Florian Plettenberg is quite clearly a Bayern Munich mouthpiece. There's zero doubt about that whatsoever. However, I've seen, Indy had the tweet about the release clause for Elise. Bayern Space doubled down on there being a release clause for Michael Elise. We've had Bundesliga journos tell us that they believe there is one. However, Indy's post got community noted, and Max Eberl has said there isn't a release clause. So that's not me saying either. That is just telling you what's out there, what we've heard at the same time as well. For the love of God, people, please stop tweeting me saying when I read a tweet that I'm claiming something. Hence, it's called Newsround. In terms of other weird little foible or story, I'm going to call this one. Look at this. Next season, fixture update. Mike Keegan put it out in the Daily Mail. A combined international break is set to hit in 2026, with both the Premier League and Championship stopping after the 19th of September and not returning until the 10th of October. That is a 3-week pause right in the early swing of the season. How crap is that? After the World Cup, it's like, another international break. 3 weeks. And the fact it starts that international break on the 19th of September, I mean, will only be what? A month into the season, give or take. That is absolutely horrendous, isn't it? But again, one of those things when you talk about it, are you surprised at all? You're not. You're really not. But yeah, honestly, I generally get the feeling you probably get a sense from that. The end of the season might be a bit of a partial relief to myself. But before we get there, this game coming up, Friday the 6th of March, 8 p.m, we get to do it all again. Yay. Wolves away in the FA Cup, where I don't know about you, and it's not trying to belittle a competition, saying it has lost its magic, anything like that. But last night was the game for me. Last night was the one I cared about. And in fact, in a way, I can say it's been skewed by last night, but I care even less now, realistically, about the Wolves game. And in fact, I care that little and more about who's rotated. And when I say that, say, oh, it's going to be a full change. I'm more thinking now about what's the best team for Galatasaray. That away leg, Tuesday, the 10th of March. That is what all the focus is ultimately on. So if you think, and I mean this, if Arne Slot, he's not going to, but if you thought that Rion Gamoa is the best bet for Galatasaray, start Cody Gakpo again in Wolves. That's what I mean. But here's what I think you'll see. I think you'll see Rion Gamoa start. I think you will see Federico Chiesa start. Gomez, God, you got to play one of the senior centre-backs. Robbo will come in, won't he? Probably Trey Ione. And I don't know how much rotation Wolves will do. They might actually, fair play to them. That's not a dig at Wolves at all. They did what they had to do and they're getting results recently. But they might rotate as well. And I don't know. You want to win every game as a Liverpool fan. Of course you do. But is there a bit of you that if we lose the league game and win the FA Cup, be even more annoyed somewhat, won't you? You really would. It's hard to predict what will happen in this. But Friday night, the FA Cup. It's weird playing games on a Friday night to start with. I genuinely do not think I felt more detached from a Liverpool game for so long, just in terms of what we're seeing at the moment. And it's not trying to be sort of downer on everything, but the patterns and objectively what we're seeing is just a million miles off it. And that's away from any talk of the league is X, Y, and Z. In terms of other games that are on tonight, as we say, some have an effect on us, some on the title race. It's interesting tonight, Villa Chelsea again. 7:30 tonight. What do you want from that? Am I even leaning towards a Villa victory? Because fifth place looks like it might get it. You just wouldn't bet serious money on Liverpool getting the Champions League for me right now. Brighton Arsenal in the title. That will be funny. City at home against Forest. You wouldn't mind Newcastle doing us a favour at home against Manchester United. That's the 8:15 tonight. But I think looking at the way Newcastle have been, they're in horrendous form. They've got a lot of injuries tonight. I think Bruno, that Wolfgang boy, they play up front as well. He's out. So, they lost at Everton, didn't, or at home to Everton 3-2 at the weekend just gone. You'd love to think they would do us a favour tonight, but I actually expect United to win that, which would actually mean a well-rested and flowing Manchester United would put a 6-point gap on us. That is how bad this season's been. There's potential for a Manchester United that have had Ruben Amorim in charge for 4/5 of their game so far could go 6 points clear of Liverpool. And you look at what's to come. Obviously, it's the FA Cup said about that. Galatasaray away. Maybe I'm hopeful that at least the next game in the Premier League is Spurs at home. That's the biggest positive I can conjure. Spurs will be Spursy. But then again, the way the season's gone, who knows what the hell will happen. He's one of them people. There's no point pretending there was redeeming features from last night. Again, as I said earlier in the show, there's elements that are just factual to Liverpool. High possession, doing nothing with it. High shot volume, low quality. We're taking shots from further away of lower quality. It's a cumulative XG. People need to focus on that. Late goals repeatedly being conceded. As that Opta Joe stat shows, just in case people missed it at the start of the show, how damning is this? Liverpool have lost 5 games thanks to 90th minute goals in the Premier League this season, the most of any side in a single campaign in the competition's history. How damning is that for Liverpool? How damning is that for Arne Slot? Whether you're angry, whether you've gone beyond angry, it's all really acceptable today. But on Wednesday, the 4th of March, that was another news round for Anfield Index.